السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كما أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملت أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشاء نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما يقولون إلا صيحة واحدة فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم سلام قولا من رب رحيم سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون استوى اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره نكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب فلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم يرى الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحيي الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق
to that thing and still do more and do more. And as an effective candidate, you have to have that mentality. Why? Because most of the time it is your mentality, not your ability, that gives you possibilities. It's not the ability, it's the mentality. There are people who are average, but when they do exams, they perform better than people who are above average. There are people who was scoring very well from Form 1 up to Form 4, and somebody else who was just an average person, C minus C, C minus C. But when they do the final exam, the one who was getting C minus C ends up with a B minus, and the one who was getting B minus ends up with a C minus. What is the reason? The reason is the one who was getting B minus establishes a comfort zone and says, I am okay now, I am going to pass. But the other one, C minus C, feels I need to read more, I need to study more, I need to work harder, I need to work harder. And in the process, the last minute preparation are the ones that are more important than the preparation of 4 years. The last minute preparation, like from now until you do exam, this period is the most important period. That when you focus, when you get more involved in your studies, you will perform better than the work you've done from Form 1 to Form 4. So H is harness your remaining potentials. On that statement, how? H, harness your remaining potentials. I always tell people, don't save any ability that you can use in this world to make your life better, because in the grave you will not need that ability. You need A here in this world, you don't need A in the grave. You need to be a medical doctor here in this world, you don't need to be a medical doctor in the grave, you don't. So do whatever you can do here to make sure you live full and you die empty. Live full and die empty. And that's why it says, study now. Studying now is better than leaving the examination room wishing you should have studied more. There are some people who think like that when they are leaving the examination room. Okay, after doing the paper, now this comes to mind. Studying now is better than leaving the examination room wishing you studied more. So do whatever you can do now. Even if it will not work, at least it will give you the comfort of your emotions. You will never say, I did not do my best. Because the worst thing to happen to anybody is to reach a point where you know you could have gotten a better grade, but because of few errors here and there, you did not get that grade. So don't ever get into a level, a situation, a compromise that you've done enough. You have not done enough. You still have to do more and more. And when you are in that spirit, you will never get bored during the examination season. And you won't keep off books during the examination season. And you won't relax during the examination season, because inside you, you believe you still can do better. You still can do better. So, when you say how, can you remind me of the statement? For you to be able to do final revision, you must have strong belief. So optimism is the key. Optimism is the key. Can you hold that window with this so that didn't disturb you? Optimism is the key. Optimism is the key. There are some people who will tell you, even if I read now, I don't understand. Okay, I'm trying, but it's like, I'm getting more confused. Okay, I want to, but it's like I feel tired. It's because you lack belief. You lack optimism. That means you don't believe you can read, understand, and then do better in the examination. That's why believing is achieving. Believing is achieving. Every time you hold a book, hold it with the belief that you're going to understand what you read in that book. The moment you lose that belief, you will never read that book. And if you read it, it will even bore you more. It will confuse you more, because you don't have belief. You don't have optimism. So live with optimism until the last minute. Live with optimism until the last minute. And that's why every time you do a paper, don't go back to that paper. When you are through, forget it. Let go, let go, let go. Stop rewinding the paper in your mind. Stop rewinding the answers. Stop reviewing the answers in your mind. That one is gone. There's nothing you can do about it now. Now focus on what is coming next. Because that one, if you think about it so much, it might demoralize you. It might take away your energy, your focus, your ability, and before you realize, as you progress with your exams, you are getting tired and tired and tired and tired, and then you do very poorly in the last papers, because every time you finish the examination room, you went somewhere, sat and started, contemplating how you answered the question. Did you give the right answers? Oh, you remember, oh, this was not how I was supposed to answer this question. This is not how I should have written. And before you realize, you are killing your own spirit, and then you don't push on with the exam season very well. So always be optimistic. Hakuna magic, there is no uchawi, if I have to use that word, that destroys people than losing faith. You lose faith in yourself. You lose that conviction that you can do well. You will do well. You've read enough, and you can still read, and you can still prepare, and you can still go on. So it's very important to understand that optimism is the key. It is the fuel that burns in your heart, that keeps you working harder and harder. I've seen so many candidates doing exams. There are those who read up to the last minute, the way they started reading from the first paper. And there are those who lose it in the middle of the exam season. Okay, and there are those who lose it just after one paper, after two papers. And there are those who the final week becomes disastrous for them. And when you look at the trend of the performance, you see some people who did very well in the first week, and then they started dropping. The second week papers, the third week papers. Why? They lacked optimism. And optimism is the opium, is the drug that gives you the energy to keep reading, keep preparing until the last paper. You see some candidates, they will read the last paper for the last paper the way they read for the first paper. And there are some they will sleep thinking that it's okay, it's the last one. And then that last one is the one which should have made a lot of difference in your performance. So don't lose the momentum. And you will never lose momentum if you are optimistic about your performance, about your preparation, about what you need to do well in your exam. How? Okay, remember I said harness your potential, remaining potential, and then be optimistic. The beauty about faith and belief is it cultivates confidence in you. It makes you very confident, because inside you believe you have prepared enough. Inside you believe Allah is there for you. Inside of you believe you are going to pass. So the moment you have those three components within your mind, within your system, you will keep on working until the last minute, until the last paper. Okay. W, how? Work smart, not hard now. You've worked hard already. Now work smart. And working smart is looking for specific areas where you still have some little challenges, and focus in those areas. Specific areas which you believe you still have some little challenges here and there. Now don't ignore those areas. Look for answers. Look for information in those particular areas. Are you getting my point? Insist on maintaining your level of motivation. Insist. Because if you're not careful, as you go on with the exam, you will start losing motivation. And before you realize, you are down completely. Now how do you sustain that motivation? You sustain that motivation with the opium of optimism. That look, I still can read, understand, and do better than ever before. Sustaining motivation means you always focusing on the reason why. You focusing on the reason why. Why did you even start Form 1? Why did you even come to high school? Why did you even come to a boarding school? Why? Insist on remembering your why. Okay? And that why is the one that now will give you the push to continue struggling. Okay? Which letter am I on now? How to? T. Divide your time wisely. Allocate your time wisely. allocate your time wisely. Sometimes people have habits of focusing so much on the next paper, and maybe after the next paper you still have another immediate paper, and you get carried away by the first paper, and when the other paper comes, it's like you are not prepared for it. So know 3 days consecutively how many papers you have, and how will you allocate time for each paper. You might give more time to one paper, and then the other papers deal with you because your preparation was not very good. So 3 days is about how many hours of reading? If you're reading 12 hours per day, 36 hours. And you have about 4 papers to you. Now you divide 36 by 4 so that you allocate enough time for each paper. Some people get carried away by immediate gratification, by immediate requirement, and they forget the ones that will come later, immediately after the first or second or third or fourth paper. Being smart means take advantage of those who are better than you. Take advantage. Amna aibu ya kuuliza maswali, amna. You rather look stupid for only 1 minute than looking a fool for the rest of your life. So if you know you're not good in a subject, don't die alone. There are other people here who are good in that subject. Now take advantage. There are also teachers who are teaching you that subject. In that way, you will always have answers for every question. Are we together? Yes. So what did I say H stands for? Harnessing. Unused potential. And there's still a lot you have not used. A lot you have not utilized. Okay. Number 2? Be optimistic. Okay. And then W? Work smart. Work smart. Work smart. Okay. And then T?
Divide your time wisely.
Divide your time wisely. Remember, you also need to rest, isn't it? Yes. So you divide, they say it is what they call 8 hours of work. No, it's 12 hours of, in the examination time, it's 12 hours of reading. 12 hours of reading. 4 hours of doing what? 4 hours of resting. So no, resting means playing, somehow. Those are how many hours? 16 hours. How many hours are you left with? No. 8. That's the minimum. You sleep so that your brain can recapitulate. The cell can be repaired so that when you start reading for the next paper, your brain is intact. If you don't get enough sleep during the examination season, you suffer from fatigue, you get exhausted. And when you read under fatigue, understanding becomes almost zero. So don't read with your eyes closing. Anytime you realize your eyes are closing, take a nap. Even if it's about 15-30 minutes, 1 hour. But take that nap. Don't force the eyes. Take that nap. Even if it's on the desk, take that nap. And then when you wake up, you will be fresh again. You'll be fresh again. How to work objectively. Work objectively. Or objectively. Work objectively. Work objectively. Work objectively. We said how to? How to effectively. Now the E, always make sure from today until the exam time, until the exam season, be excited about the exam. Be happy about the exam. Be happy about the exam. When you're happy, psychologically, you get the power to do things properly, efficiently, with efficacy. When you are excited, when you're happy, more than when you're sad. So always think of good things that will come after the exam, the university, the career, the life. Don't think of failing at all. The moment you think about failing, you get discouraged to continue preparing for the exam. Always, even if the paper was so bad, just imagine you passed. Don't start marking the paper before the examiner marks it. You are not the examiner. So don't tell anybody or yourself, I think I failed this paper. How do you know you failed that paper? Don't ever tell yourself, I think I failed this paper. I think I didn't ask all the questions. I think I didn't answer properly. I think I gave a wrong answer. No. After the exam, always imagine you're going to pass. Always imagine you did very well. The moment you start imagining you didn't do very well, believe me, even reading for the next paper will be hard. Very hard. Very, very hard. But if you leave the examination room with excitement, preparing for the next exam becomes easy. So, practice positive psychology every time you do a paper. Practice positive psychology every time you do a paper. Practice positive psychology. Tell yourself, this, I did very well in this one. 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 Until you finish your all the papers. Effectively, always concentrate on giving facts. Not many stories, facts. Sometimes it's in subjects. Sometimes you need to direct the examiner to where the answer is. So what some students do, they will underline the answer in a paragraph. So the examiner will not have to waste time reading a lot of stories. We just go right to the answer. And in that process, it will not give them time to criticize your language or many other things. They will just look for the answer. So some people will write it boldly. The examiner will see this is the answer. This is the sentence that gives you the answer. Okay? So it's very important for you to give facts. Give facts. Show your facts. Show your facts. Okay? The second F, effectively. Make sure your figures are well balanced. In a subject where figures are needed, make sure your figures are well balanced. Make sure your figures are well balanced. Make sure your figures are well balanced. Which letter am I going to?
E.
E. Try the much you can as you, even when you're writing the exam, keep encouraging yourself. You know, sometimes you can lose it in the middle of the exam. When you open the paper, Shaitan tells you, you don't know any of these questions. You don't know them. So inside you, you feel like, subhanallah, of all that work I did reading this for this paper, no questions. All the questions I thought they will come, they are not here. No, they are there. Look for them. Those questions, look for them. Maybe it's the language. Maybe they are hidden inside the way they are structured. But what you read is what normally comes in the examination. Maybe it's the language. It was twisted. So stop getting demoralized the moment you open the paper. Because when you do that, you lose the strength to answer those questions. If the first thing that will come to your mind is, I don't know nothing in this paper, you are done. Finished for you. So no matter how strange the questions look like, make them familiar. Because it is easy to handle something that is familiar than something that is strange. Insist that every question you see is a familiar question. Is a familiar question. And how do you make a question familiar? Before you answer, you read for at least 7 times. Minimum. Don't bother about the answer. Just read that language of that question about 7 times. Before you realize, there will be a special connection between your cognitive and that question. Things will start flowing. Right? The subconscious mind will start organizing facts for you to start use in answering that question. But when you panic Now the subconscious mind understands that you don't really know and it won't give you an answer. The subconscious mind takes the first impression of someone when you're doing something, and it concludes that this is how this person is. This person doesn't know these questions. There is no need for me to organize facts for them. And that's how people fail. But when you open a paper and then you tell yourself, I think I know all these questions. Now you go, before you start answering, you read one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, and then now you say, okay, which one do I start with? And which one will you start with? The easiest one. Because the easiest one is the one which is the most familiar to you, isn't it? Yes. So as you are answering the most familiar, the other ones will be reorganizing in the subconscious mind. And when you finish that one, these are the one. One thing you should never do, no matter how hard a question is, insist on writing something. Don't leave it blank, because you are not the examiner. Insist on writing something. Just write. No matter how hard, no matter how difficult, no matter how complicated that question is, just insist on writing. Write something. Don't give a blank paper to the examiner. It sends a very bad impression when the marker opens the script and discovers there are 3-4 questions that are left blank. The first impression that marker will have is that this is a poor student. This is a below average student. But when you have written, even with jargon, you have written and filled that paper, the first impression the examiner gets, wow, they answered all the questions. This must be a very bright candidate. Now, their focus will be looking what is right, and before you realize, they will see what is right. Even when you wrote wrong things, they will see something that is right. But don't leave any question blank. Don't. It sends a very wrong impression to someone who is marking your paper. Who is marking your paper. Are we together? Yes. Now see, be creative. Be creative. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me this gift of analyzing words using letters. When I was writing my PhD exams, I will just make a statement on that question and I'll be answering according to the letters. And maybe one or two letters will not fit, but I will insist to write. Okay? And believe me, I'm not telling you this to impress you, but all the exams I did when I was doing PhD, I got A's, all of them. Not because I was very intelligent, no, I was very creative. Very, very creative, yeah. So sometimes you have to find a way of how to impress the marker that you are intelligent. You know, we are human beings, and the marker, even when you write a wrong answer, the marker will think maybe you didn't add up very well, but otherwise the way you organize those facts, you look very intelligent. Sindio? Yeah. That's how they conclude. Maybe something went wrong somewhere, even if the answer is not really right, but the way it is organized, out of 4 I can give 2. So you get 2 marks free of charge. So always make sure you are creative in answering the questions. Okay? T, always be thorough. Be thorough. Go for details. The difference between people when it comes to answering questions is the details that they give. Don't say, they asked me for 5 points, I'm only going to put 5 points. If they ask you for 5, put 10. You never know. When they ask you for 5, don't give them 5. Give them, show them you are intelligent. As long as the time is there, show them you are intelligent. And then always make sure you interrogate questions. When you are preparing like now, the best method of reading now is questioning, interrogation. You interrogate each word you read, you interrogate each sentence you read, you interrogate each diagram you see, you interrogate each picture you see. Interrogate. What is to interrogate? To ask why this, why this, why this, why this. Before you realize you've built your own knowledge. You don't need to remember the knowledge you read from a book. You've built it your own knowledge by interrogation. Why is it designed this way? Why is it written this way? Why did they use this word in this question? Why is this question ending with this one? At the end of the day, now you get the information from your own thoughts, not from the book that you read. The book will just support you, and it will be easy because now you will put on your own experience. Particularly these days, these eras of NEC using application more than recall. There's a lot of application these days. They don't ask you to mention, to write down, to enumerate. They want you to give your own understanding. Therefore, the moderation becomes serious. Serious. So you must always learn, reading together, sharing information, having final revision together in groups and such kind of things, and always being open to supporting each other. That will really support you in performing better than when you work alone as an individual. You go to schools and there's one B, and then D, and then D minus, and then E. All of them. Now you wonder what's wrong with this a school like that. Okay, sometimes students can be very selfish. You should avoid being selfish when you are about to do exam. You should help. Okay, try as much as you can to help, to engage effectively. Discover and work on your limits. Discover now. Spend time asking yourself, what are my weaknesses? Now deal with those weaknesses. What are my weaknesses? Now I'm really prepared, but there could be 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weaknesses. How do I handle these weaknesses? How? Who is there to help me fix these weaknesses? Who in my class or among the teachers can help me fix these weaknesses? Don't go to the exam room when you know you have not fixed your weaknesses. The next L. Lean on the right shoulder. Lean on the right shoulder. If tomorrow we have mathematics paper 2, okay, we need to look at those who are good in mathematics to support all of us. We should lean on the right shoulder. Tomorrow is mathematics, but you are busy discussing history with the person who is very good in history, knowing that tomorrow's mathematics is not history. Lean on the right shoulder. I am sure you know each other very, very well. And I want to believe you are very cooperative. There is a good synergy in this group. Don't. It is very strange to see there's somebody who has an A in a subject and then another one who has an E. What happened? Why couldn't that A at least influence this E become a D+? Why? There is A. There are 3, 4 A's of chemistry in a class, and then there are 3, 4, 5 E's in chemistry. What happened? That is, those who are at the top did not bother to uplift those who are at the bottom. This is the time when you need to be very open with one another, and then push to one another to at least improve, move forward, not backward. Are we together? Yes. And then the next letter is what? Y. As I started, say, yearn for more. Yearn for more. It's not enough. Nataka kurudia tena. Usijiambie umesoma vya kutosha au yasoma bado. Shoshin. What did I say? It means shoshin. Be curious in another word. Shoshin. Be curious. Shoshin. Be curious. Never tell yourself that you have read enough. Okay? The next word is what? Do. How to effectively do final revision. Now dedicate. Now, this time until you finish the exam, dedicate everything you have to your examination. Give everything you have, everything, your mind, your soul, your body. Invest everything you have in passing your exam now. Invest everything you have in passing your exam now. You see, at least, even if things don't work out, at least you will tell yourself, I did my best. And that will keep you away from post-exam stress or post-results stress. There are people who get really stressed after results. They really get devastated. And people who get stressed after results are those people who realize that they did not do their best. So from now until you do your exam, do your best. Do your best. So that one day, even when you are questioned, God will be a witness. You did your best. You won't even feel bad to tell your children that you did not do very well, when you knew you did your best. But if you waste the time and you don't do well, it will be very, very frustrating. Because it is so bad when you knew you could get an A, but you settled for a C. So dedicate everything you have. Dedicate. And then be open. Remember, the mind of a human being is like a parachute. It works better when it is open. You can't 24 hours just hold a book, reading. No, it's not possible. Have some group discussion. Have some plenary discussion. Have some FGD. You know FGD? No. FGD is focus group discussion. As a class, you agree there's a topic that is disturbing all of you. Okay? Now, if there is nobody among us who can handle that topic, you go talk to a teacher that we want a focus group discussion. Just focus on what? On that topic. You can even tell the teacher, can you reteach this topic? Don't revise, reteach it. So they start from the beginning. They teach you like it's the first time. It's called FGD, Focus Group Discussion. And then SGD, what is it? SGD, Small Groups Discussion. 3 up to 6 maximum. Discussing on a certain topic intensively. PGD, what is that? Parallel group discussion. A topic is big, you divide it in subtopic, one group takes one subtopic, another, then you come back and share. Because maybe it's a topic that's a bit challenging, okay? So you divide yourself for 4, take this part, go do some research, then tomorrow we meet and then you present. This is what I discovered, this is what I read, this is how, that's called PGD, Parallel Group Discussion. You go, there's a topic in chemistry that is a bit challenging. Now you split it into smaller pieces. You go do your own research, then now come back and every of the group leader makes a presentation of that particular topic. And to make sure the information is true, you give 2 people to one topic, subtopic, 2 people, one subtopic, so that you get different version of that particular topic. Are we together? Yes. So always make sure, what did I use there? Be open to learn. Stop being overconfident. Stop being overconfident, because that will really mislead you. And you may create blocks not to interact with others because you believe now you are more than prepared. Remember, even a fool can teach you something, isn't it? Yes. So don't say I'm an A student and so is a B student, she has nothing to tell me. She could have something that you don't know, and she could tell you something that could save you in an exam. That one you think is an average student. That one, she could have something to share with you. that could help you pass a certain paper. So be open, be open. Effectively do final revision. F now. Now focus. Focus your reading. Focus your reading. What do I mean by focus your reading? Now read intentionally. Read intentionally. And how is to read intentionally? To read intentionally means is to have questions and then you are reading to answer that question. You're not just reading for the sake of reading. Now you are guided, your reading is guided by some questions. So for example, in a chemistry paper, at the end of every book, at the end of every topic, there are revision questions. So now you read those revision questions and then you read. You don't read and then revise. You read revision question. You start the other way around. You read the question and then you read the chapter. In English, at the end of the topic, there are some revision question. Read those revision questions, now read the text. People will first read text and then read question. This time, no. You read the questions and then you read the text. Now that is called intentional reading. You are reading to answer those questions. It's very good. Okay? And then at the end of the day, it will give you guideline on what you should look for in what you are reading. What you should look for in that content. What are you looking for? You are looking for information to answer that particular question. Looking for that question. Which letter am I on now? I. If there is any time that somebody should get really interested in the result is now. You should get more than interested. You should be so passionate about the scores you will record in this exam. You should be so passionate. Get more interested. Every time, think of that A you will get in biology. Think of that A you will get in English. Think about that A you get in chemistry. Think about that A you're going to get in Kiswahili. Think, be passionate. Be passionate. Now that A is something positive. It will give you the energy. It is like plugging yourself into an electrical switch. And you're a mobile phone, you're getting charged. Now when you do the exam, it's like now you are more than prepared because you are convinced that you're going to get that particular grade. Are we together? Yes. Which letter am I on now? N. Okay. Final. Learn. This is the time to negotiate with you very well. Learn to negotiate with it. You see, sometimes you want to give up. Sometimes you feel like you're tired. Sometimes you feel like you're beaten to pants down. You can't stand up again. Things are getting even harder now than they were before. Now you have to learn how to convince yourself. Negotiate with you. Negotiate with yourself. That look, how many months do you have to be at Ummulqurah now? 1. So you tell us, even if I didn't like the school, now I am about to say goodbye. But how I will say goodbye to this school will mean a lot in my life. So look, eat the gongaka, eat the giveri. After all, it's just few weeks to go. Okay? Don't sleep, don't waste your time. You negotiate. Okay? As I tell you every day, sometimes the best advice you get in life is the advice you give to your own self. Sometimes the best conversation you can have with anybody is that conversation you have with you when you're alone.
Yes.
And that's why they say meditation is one avenue where people grow their intelligence. Meditation, thinking to think of how great you are, not how weak you are. Sitting down to think of how great you are, how much you have gone through from Form 1 to Form 4. How much you have conquered, how much you have, that kind of feeling that I am a winner. It wasn't easy. Some of you are about to go back home. Some of you are from Form 1 to Form 4, you have told so many people so many times that you will not come back. But you still came back, isn't it? Alhamdulillah, that's very good. At least we have girls to talk to. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes you will be starting doing a question, and in the middle you feel like I don't understand this question. I don't know this one. Tell yourself, no, you know it. You know it. Insist you know it. Don't just stop and say I don't know it. No. Insist you know it. Insist you know it. As you insist, your ego will feel bad to get hurt. You know, we don't enjoy failing, isn't it? Yes. So the ego will not agree. Therefore, it will force the super ego to come up with the answer, and the answer will come. The answer will come. I don't know if you have had this experience. I've had it so many times. You get stuck somewhere, and all of a sudden you realize you know everything about that thing, just to tell yourself, so I wasn't that stupid after all. I don't know if it has happened to you. It has happened to me many times. You know, you feel like, I'm not going to make through this one. And then you just discover, no, you're even better than what you thought. You're better. That is when you refuse to agree that you don't have an answer. If you must, then take a rest, kidogo. Pause a little bit. If you must, but don't give up. Just rest. If you must, rest for about a minute or so, and then recollect yourself. Go back to that question before you realize you have all the answers. Yes. Another lady I'm on. Pay attention to the details now. Pay attention to the details. Pay attention to the details. You know, after making a frame of how you're going to answer the question, of course, you will jot down. This is the J of the exam. Jot down the points before you start writing. So jotting down means you're jotting main points, isn't it? Now, after jotting down, think of the details. What will you put in between that structure? Think of the detail. So keep expounding your paragraph. Keep expounding your paragraph. And how do you expound your paragraph? To ask a question when you reach a full stop. What next? And the next will come. What next? And the next will come. And before you realize you have written quite a lot. The difference between people, everybody answers questions, but there are some people who answer in details. They give details, and some people will just put up a skeleton. Okay? And to you, it's like, I have answered this question. Yes, you have answered, but you left the details. So don't leave a question without details. Which letter am I now? L. You must love what you do if you want to do it very well. So instead of fearing the exam, love the exam. Instead of fearing the exam, love the exam. Tell yourself, I can't wait to do this exam. I can't wait to get to do this exam.
I can't wait to do this exam.
Examination is a season that comes to us to prove that we are better than what people think. Exams always comes to better my life. So I'm not scared. I will dare. And I will learn to share. And I will glare. But finally, the answers will be there. So from today, don't panic. Love the exam. Love the idea. Walk with confidence that you are more than prepared. Love the exam. If there is one thing that makes a student fail, is when they start panicking. I think 3 years ago, what's the name, Madam Shada, of the girl who is now the president of youth, Lamu County, the lawyer? What's her name? The one who could talk like a parrot. The MCU girl. She's from CU. What's her name? Sure. Their group was a very brilliant group. Akina Yusra Malao. You were never with the man. Akina Yusra Malao. That group was made up of brilliant girls. But it was time of Matiangi, I think, when Matiangi came. And the first paper was an emergency paper. The first first one was an emergency paper, and they all panicked and they forgot everything. Believe me, those who we thought would get B plus and above, there was no B plus and above. The maximum was a B plane and only one. Those who we thought would really go to university, they ended up with C plane. So many of them C plane, C plane, C plane. Every time we went to school, they were just crying. Every paper, they were just crying. After every paper, they were just crying. We had to go to school in the evening just to calm them down. Every paper, according to them, was too hard. Every paper, that's how you feel when you're panicking. So from today, you have to love it. You have to love it. You have to love it. When you love it, you do it without any fear. And always remember, the fear, the medicine for fear is to do what you fear, and the fear will disappear. And I'm told you have done so many post-mocks and mocks and trials, a number of them, am I right?
Yes.
So I am sure out of all those exams you did, 75% of the question in the coming exam will be from those exams. Inshallah. So don't worry about that. Which letter am I on now? R. That is revision, right? And always reflect on the questions before you answer them. Reflect on the question. How do you reflect on a question? You know, there is a method of understanding information that is called R cube. R cube. That means 3 R's. Okay, so you first read just to know the language. Then you recite to comprehend the meaning. Then you reflect to ask yourself, if I were to set this question, how would I have set it differently? Now you set it in your own way so that you can answer it in your own way. That's the reflection I'm talking about. That you read, you recite, then you reflect. It's very important. Which letter am I in now? Revision. Okay, E. E. Encounter every challenge as it comes. Don't speculate. Encounter every challenge as it comes. Don't speculate. Don't speculate. Just encounter as it comes. Don't speculate. Because when you start speculating negativity, in most cases you will get challenges when you're answering that paper, that question. But if what you are reflecting, speculating, are things that are positive, things that are good for you, it will be easy for you to answer those particular questions. Are we together? Yes. V, verify. Verify. Whatever you read, verify. And how do you verify? Don't read from one source. Don't read from one source. If you read a paragraph from KLB book, read again. If you read a topic from KLB book, read the same topic on the Longhorn book, on Oxford book. If you discuss something with a friend, discuss the same thing with another friend, so that you can get different interpretation and get convinced that truly what you have gathered, what you have retained in your memory is exactly what you need to know about that particular topic. Okay, so always verify your information. Verify your information. And after answering the question, now you do verification process. You reread what you have written. You reread to make sure you didn't leave a full stop, you didn't leave a comma, you underline in most important facts, you made it neat. Another one good weapon you can use to soften the hearts of markers is make sure your handwritings are illegible. Make sure they are. Don't punish them. When you punish them, they will also punish you. So make their work easy, because they want to make money, isn't it? Yeah. So if your writing is eligible enough, it will take them a short time to go through your work and grade. But if your handwriting is tiny, and it takes them 30 minutes just to read one question, they will also punish you. They will make sure also they have undermarked your paper. All the minority, they just undermark, and before you realize, you are very sure of a certain paper that you did very well. When the results come out, you can't believe it. And it happens quite a number of times. That some people will write and write and write and write and have the opinion that here I have an A, and when the results are out, is a C, not an A. Why? Because of the writing. So take your time. Take your time. The N, if you are to use ABCD of examination, the N in the ABC means be neat. If you are to use ABCD up to Z on the exam, the N means you should be neat. Your work should be neat. That itself impresses the examiner, and they will mark your work very, 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 very well. Which letter am I on now? I. Be insightful. Be insightful. That means think before you write. Think before you write. Think. There are two steps of thinking. You think before you think, and then you think before you write. So that as you think, you know you are thinking in the right way. And as you write, you know you are writing the right materials. Which letter am I on again?
S.
S. Be systematic. Be systematic. Be systematic. Be systematic. Get organized or you will agonize. Get organized or you will agonize. Get organized or you will agonize. Which letter am I on again? I. Remember, at the end of the day, inspiration plus perspiration takes you to your destination. Inspiration plus perspiration takes you to your destination. Nothing more important than EQ when it comes to exam. The IQ comes later, but the EQ gives you the power to read. And what is EQ? Emotional quotient. EQ is more ya sasa kwenye madawati yetu. Life won't be very exciting. Remember, it takes discipline, routine, education, action, mentality to turn dreams into reality. Can you take that one again?
It takes discipline, routine, education, action, mentality to turn dreams into reality.
Yes. And I believe you all have that list in your behaviors. Am I right? Yes. So let's turn our dreams into reality. Okay? Can you read this one again? Excuses make today easy, but they make tomorrow hard. Discipline makes today hard, but it makes tomorrow easy. So you are the one to choose whether you want to have easy today and hard tomorrow, or you want to have hard today or easy tomorrow. Today is very short, isn't it?
Yes.
It's only 3 weeks and you're done. Now the tomorrow is for the rest of your life. So better go through hardship now and enjoy your eternal life until you go to Akhirah. You will be living a very comfortable life because you sacrifice these 4 years of high school. Do it tired, do it sad, do it unmotivated, do it and don't stop. You are almost there. Do you feel you're almost there?
Yes.
Do you feel you're almost there?
Yes.
Yeah. So don't worry about being tired, about being sad, about being motivated. Don't stop. You are almost there. Finish the job. Will it be easy? No. Oh yes, absolutely. One day when I meet you and you're a medical doctor, wow. Yeah. Oh my God. You'll have to buy me cappuccino. Yeah. I come to the airport and you are the pilot. Oh, subhanallah. It's worth it, isn't it? Yes. So don't worry about today. Focus on how tomorrow will be and live with them. One day I want to honestly say,
I made it.
Yeah. One of these days I want to stand up and say, those girls, they made me proud. Yeah, inshallah, that's very possible, very possible. Okay, the law of growth, what does it say? Change within to transform your life. Start transforming yourself. Stop expecting others to change for your happiness. Instead, focus on your mindset, habits, and perspective. Where you go, everything around you evolves. You have to go, but you don't go if you don't know. And if you don't know, you go so low. And when you are low, you have nothing to show. Okay, and when you have nothing to show and the wind blows, you will never grow. Okay, and you will go so slow because you don't grow. Don't know. Study like this. Yeah. Every day, study like tomorrow, and tomorrow will definitely be there. Okay, it's not the time to look for excuse now. No excuse now. No excuse now. Because if you become an excusist, nothing will work for you. Just do what you have to do. Every second counts. It's not about an hour, it's not about a day, it's not about a week. Now you have to work based on second. That's very important. No more excuses, just do it. And believe me, you will make it if you do it that way. Nothing is scarier than avoiding your full potential. You are an A, B and A. Get an A. You are a B, get the B. Okay, and maybe we are not the same, but be the person you ought to be in your life. Don't be below what you can do. You are getting close, that's why it's getting tough. Because you are about, that's why it's getting tougher and tougher. It's because you're getting close to your destination. Your next move matters more than your last mistake. Have you read that one aloud?
Your next move matters more than your last mistake.
I want it a bit louder.
Your next move matters more than your last mistake.
You know why I asked you to read loudly? Sometimes in life it can be suited. Unajua kujisuta. Stop worrying my friend. And unajiambia ukweli. Your next move matters more than your last mistake. And now you do the right thing because you know the next move is more important. Remember that hard work is attitude, discipline, doing extra, excellence. Now make the right choice, my friends. Make the right choice as you finalize exam. Grave. Can you read it again? Who can explain that to me? What does it really mean? What does it really mean? Crave for the result. Then the work becomes irrelevant. What is that? What is crave? Crave. You want to try, Suma? Try. Explain to me what that means. Crave the results so intensively that the work is irrelevant. Ah, beautiful. Somebody wants to try. Can you stand, please, so that you speak with authority? Yes. Tell them.
Have the results so intensely that the work is irrelevant. Be so eager to and so bad for the result, then the work will not be as much as it is. You'll find it so easy and yeah.
Yeah, because the expectation is big, isn't it? Yeah. So no matter how hard things are, they become easy because you're expecting. Have you seen people preparing for a wedding? It's really tasking, isn't it? Yeah. Up and down, here and there, money, everything. Why are they doing all that? Because they are just thinking about that marriage, isn't it? Yes. That our girl is getting. The whole idea is about our girl is getting, or our boy is getting. So it doesn't matter how hard we work, because the results we are craving. We couldn't wait for her to get married. Now you couldn't wait to see an heir. Do you think having sleepless nights will be a problem? No. Because your expectation is an heir. My dear guys, Bill Gates had rules of success, and Bill Gates is a very successful man. Worldly. What did he say? Rule number one is? What does that mean? Always learn. Number 2, those who thought you will not make it, surprise them. Really surprise them. Number 3, no shortcut. The hard way, the only way. Number 4, yeah, see, have a vision of the future. People don't have vision, they perish. Wale ambao hawaioni kesho yao wanakufa leo, hawafiki kesho. Lakini wale wanaoiona kesho yao itakuwa vipi, leo wanakuwa very live. They work hard to make tomorrow bigger than yesterday. Number 5, love it, fall in love with it. Fall in love with it. Fall in love with it. When you do what you love and you love what you do, doing it becomes easy. Number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, relax sometimes, have a sense of humor, jokes around sometimes, just to remove the fatigue and the boredom, okay, and such kind of thing can really help you. Okay, I want us to read this again, this list. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. Very comprehensive list. If you do this, success will be at your doorstep and it will be easy for you to succeed. How to stay motivated? Number 1, okay, let's read together. Define goals that inspire you and connect with your value. When your goals are purpose, it's easier to stay motivated. Yes. Number 2,
Break it down. Divide goals into smaller, manageable steps. Small wins build momentum and
keep you moving. Number 3,
surround yourself with positivity. Spend time with people, content and environments that encourage growth and optimism. Energy is contagious.
Yes. That's why you should not allow any one of you to be lazy. It's also contagious. If one person starts being lazy, the rest could also become lazy. Okay. Another number 4.
Celebrate progress.
Yes.
Reward yourself for milestones, no matter how small. Acknowledging progress boosts confidence and motivation.
Yes. Visualize.
Picture yourself achieving your goals. Visualization strengthens belief and keeps you focused.
Next.
If plans change, don't give up. Adapt. Flexibility prevents frustration and helps you keep going.
Very good. Next one.
Take care of yourself. Eat well, rest and exercise. A healthy body supports a motivated mind.
So this list is beautiful. If you follow this list, everything will become easy for you. How to be more disciplined?
Know your why. Clarify the reasons behind your goals. Understanding the deeper purpose keeps you focused and motivated. Start small. Begin with simple, realistic actions. Avoid trying to change everything at once. Gradual steps build lasting discipline.
Yes.
Set priorities. Identify the most important tasks and focus on them first. These help you stay organized and effective. Eliminate hesitations. Reduce distractions and create an environment that supports focus and productivity. Monitor your progress. Track your progress regularly. Adapt your plans as needed and use progress as motivation. Practice saying no. Protect your time and give up and adapt. Flexibility prevents frustration and keep going. Forgive yourself quickly. Sneak up.
Don't dwell on them. Learn, adjust, and keep moving. That's very important. Any question about that? Anything I said that you did not understand? Anything you read and you did not understand? Anything you read you did not understand? Okay, let's take our next PowerPoint before the Adhan. Bismillah. So the exam preparation tips, powerful affirmations that will get you an A plus. An A plus. Okay, number 1, time management and getting organized. Number 2, no multitasking. Focus on the exam now, okay? And then ask question, set schedule, take sleep. Yeah, you have to get enough sleep. Facing the mistake with courage and finding methods to correct them. And then studying deeply, okay? Do not take much help from the parent, okay? They know that life is much more than school, but together with it, understand how important is the school. Because some people will try to discourage you. We've seen so many people have gone to school and they've not made it. It's not about that. School has a role to play in life, and you have to be very careful of that. Daily habits of highly performance students. Habit number 1, setting specific of what they should know on that day. Number 2, prioritizing what is important for you now. Number 3, every second counts. Number 4, don't mix yourself with fools. Work with those who are intelligent. Another one, yes, don't underestimate yourself. Next one, engage regularly. Synergy creates energy. Another one, yes, prior preparation prevents you from poor performance. Again, when you use 2 senses in doing or studying, you understand better. For coordination, okay? Avoid what you can do today, okay? And then managing stress, and then reflection itself, and then balancing work and play. Because work without play makes you a dull guy. See, when you have read and it's like you are tired, go and run some few rounds and go back to class. Drink a lot of water. Fluids helps a lot in dealing with the fatigue of the mind. Get my point? Say something interesting, exciting, so that you laugh for a while and then go back to reading, and that can really help you. Top 15 exam preparation tips. Number 1, Alhamdulillah, you have started early, isn't it? Number 2, yeah, you have to make sure your class is clean, your desk is clean. Number 3, I'm sure I have done a lot of this, am I right? Yes. Next one, I'm sure you all have goals, am I right? Very good. Next one, exactly, to coordinate the thinking and the writing. Again, number 5, yes, that's group work, isn't it? Number 7, try to do it orally so that you can internalize it in your brain. Okay, number 8, what does this mean? Who knows their learning style here? Study to suit your learning style. What is a learning style? What is your learning style? How many learning styles do you have? There are 7 learning styles. There's some students who learn by hearing. They just need to listen. So if you are that type of a student, just go to a teacher. The teacher will talk and you will understand, or ask questions to a friend and listen, and you will understand everything. There are some students who are visual. Apart from hearing, they want to see, isn't it? So something like these diagrams can really help them to understand what they are learning. There are some, apart from hearing and seeing, they are also sensory learners. Sensory learners learn by writing notes, taking notes. Whatever they read, they write down. They are sensory learners. Okay? Yes. Number 4, there are learners who are oral learners. They have to talk. So you give them time to explain. Okay? So if you give them a topic to go research and then tell them to present it to class or in a group, they will learn very easily. There are some learners who are kinesthetic learners. They learn by moving. They can't concentrate. They can't concentrate even for 1 hour. They have to move from one place to another. Their body has to get involved for them to understand what they are reading. And then there are some learners who are intrapersonal learners. Intrapersonal learners are those learners who learn on their own, alone. If they are with people, they can't concentrate. These are those students who will wake up very early in the morning at 3 because there's nobody in the class. And they will read. By the time people come to class, they have covered quite a lot. And then we have interpersonal learners. Who are interpersonal learners? People who cannot read unless they discuss in a group. That's what I mean. You, what did it say? Get to, what does it say? Study to suit the learning style. So, and the best, as they say, the best journey is the journey of discovering yourself. So, you should know your learning style. You should know your learning style. So, if you know you are an oral learner, okay, be the first one to describe things for others. If you know you are an audio learner, then make sure you listen a lot when people are discussing. If you know you are a sensory learner, write. Every time you read, you write. Okay, let's continue. Take regular, great chunk of time in between what you are reading. Okay, so that you can debrief. Okay, allow what you have read to sink before you take another topic. Okay, another one again. Don't. Comprehend what you're reading. You rarely cram. Of course, there are some people who are photogenic brains. They just need to read once and stay in their brain. Okay, that's different. But if you are like me, you have an analytical brain, you can argue, but you cannot cram. Don't force yourself to cram. Just comprehend. It becomes easy. Okay? Ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help. Plan your exam. Number 13. This is what I've been telling you. Don't forget it. You've done it. It's gone. Hata mtu mwambia imeisha hiyo. Like there's some people who might say, ulijibu vipi swali lile? Uliona vipi? Amwambia hiyo imemalizika, imeenda hiyo. Asija akakutonesha mahali ukaanza kusikitika, ukalia, na sasa maji yamesha mwagika, yazoleki tena. Okay? Okay, can we continue?
Drink lots of water.
That's why I've given you water. Kindly drink that water. Drink that water. And you won't get tired. Okay? Choose like mogoka. Now we should eat more of mogoka. Now we should ask Mr. Said to cook for you vegetables more than anything else. Maybe we should increase the number of fruits we give you when the others go, so that you have a lot of nutrition in your body. Are we together? Yes. Study smarter, not harder. 7 effective methods. We have one method we call Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro, break study time into 25 minutes. Small period. And read small of everything. And finally you won't get tired. That is called Pomodoro technique. It's a Japanese word. Active recall. Connecting what you're reading to the real life, so that when you see objects around you, you can remember what you have read. Number 3, spaced repetition. Make sure when you read something today, you repeat it tomorrow to make sure it is stuck in your mind. Let's go to mind mapping. Think about what you're reading. Don't just read like that. Think about it. Reflect on it. Okay? Feynman technique. This is when whatever you read, make it simple to your level of understanding. Interleaving, mix different topics together which are connected to each other. There are topics that are a little similar. You can find them in more than one subject maybe. Mix those ones and study them at once. Okay, and then SQ 3R method. Survey, question, read, and then recite, and then review. Who can explain? This is a very interesting method. What does it really mean? Well, how do you do this one? The final one. SQ3R method. For example, you have a book like this and you want to read it, before you read it, just survey it. Look at how it is printed, the color, the wording, the topic. Then go to the table of content, read all those topics and subtopic, read all those questions, see which diagrams are there. Now you are familiar with the book. So when you are familiar with something, reading it becomes easy. Now Q, whatever you see, question, why is this like this? Why is this diagram done like this? Why did they use red color? Why did they use this font? As a question, you get answers. So now when you are reading, you will be answering those questions that are in that book. Then now you read, just go through the book, okay, without a lot of concentration. Then recite, now try to understand each and every word in the book, and then now review, answer questions on that particular topic. So you may learn. Yeah, it's very interesting way of reading. It's called SQ3R. I like Pomodoro also because it's easy to apply. Pomodoro is making sure your timetable doesn't exist 35 minutes for each subject, so that you don't get bored. That means you read a bit of everything, and your mind, because of varieties of topics you will have read, will never get exhausted. It will not have fatigue, and you can move on with the reading without getting tired. So this is what SQ3R means. What is the SQ3R method? A study technique that helps you get the most out of reading and gives you a deeper understanding. So then quickly check out the chapter to see what's ahead. 3. Start active reading and answer your Number 2, quiz yourself on headlines and key points for an active approach. Number 3, read. Start to actively read and answer your question. Number 4, record the information you just read in your own words. Number 5, review. Regularly review the notes you took to reinforce. See, it's a very systematic way of reading. Okay, and now since you are doing a final revision, it will be a very good tool to use so that you understand a lot of what you are reading. How to study a difficult subject. Particularly now. Number 1, separate the information small. Don't read a whole topic, just read a subtopic at once. Don't insist on reading the whole topic. Take subtopic after subtopic. If subtopic after subtopic is hard, do paragraph after paragraph. Don't rush in finishing the topic. Take a paragraph after paragraph. Set small learning goals for yourself. Just tell yourself, I want just to know this thing. I just want to know the date when Kenya was colonized. I just want to know how Kenya got its independence in 1963. I would just like to know why the colonists were interested in Africa. Things that are easy, just like that. How come babies, how do babies get into the stomach of the mother? Things that are very simple, but then you're answering every question. Okay, and then how do babies grow? Then you take notes. Make your own notes. Write down notes instead of typing them. Alhamdulillah, we don't use laptops in our school. Ask questions if you are feeling stuck. Go for help. Don't say, I don't know it, cover the book and then put it in the desk. Go look for somebody who knows that particular thing you are looking for. Study the subject 20 minutes a day. Don't spend a lot of time in that subject. Just give it minimal time, but do it every day. Repetition is the strength of understanding what seems to be difficult for you. Teach the subject to someone else, because teaching is twice learning. So teach to somebody else and it will become very easy. After all, there's no subject that is very difficult. 15 ways to improve memory. Improving your memory so that you remember everything that you read. Number 1, write things down. Chunking, putting it in smaller bits. Use acronym. What does KISS means? KISS. What does it mean? Keep it short and simple. So instead of you remembering everything, what do you write? KISS. What does cash means? K-A-S-H. I use this acronym every time I talk to cash. K-A-S-H. What does it mean? Knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits. So what is the acronym for the planets? You don't know the acronym for planets? Where is? You didn't do it in primary school? The acronym. You combine all of them and then you make one word. And it becomes easy for you to remember. That is called acronym. And then practice, and practice. Superior focus. Take one thing and focus on it for a long time. It will become part of you. Okay? Test yourself. That means answer questions. And then what? Where am I? Test yourself, and then the other one. Read more. Little and often. Make it a story. Say things out loud. Ask why. Get enough. Drink. Teach it to someone. Silly sentences you create your own self so that they can help you remember a big chunk of information. Sentence that you create for your own self, but then they mean a lot. With that sentence you can answer a whole facility question with that one sentence. Remember, I made a sentence when I came here. What was the sentence? How? And out of that sentence, for how much do you discuss? A lot, for over 1 hour. So that's what we call silly sentence. Are we together? How to learn anything faster. How to learn anything faster. Stop multitasking. Concentrate on the exam now. It's more important than anything else. It's just about exam now. Number 2, don't reinvent the wheels. Learn from others. Learn from others. Number 3, let your mind wander. Think. Number 4, repetition. Number 5, relate new learning to prior knowledge. Use the known to unknown, unfamiliar to familiar. Try to remember things that you know in life and connect them to the things that you are studying and learning now. Fast learning. This is a very interesting psychological way of learning. It was developed by a Chinese guy called Jim Quick. He says, for you to learn very fast, you have to forget. Forget means pretend you don't know nothing. Pretend you don't know anything. Every time you open a topic, pretend you don't know it. Forget what you know about that topic. Now your mind will open up to new information. And in the process, you will also retain what you knew before. A, be active. That means read and write. Read and discuss. Be active. Don't just read silently. Be active. Read loud. State. Make sure you discuss what you're reading with somebody else to make your mind see the real meaning of what you are studying, and then teach it to somebody else. Can we read it together? It's a very interesting method. I use it every day. First. That's why most of the time when I talk, I don't use paper. I use this method. It's very interesting. You remember everything you want to say. Even if it is 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, you speak without using any notes. Because you have used acronyms, you've done this and this, you've made your own silly sentences, and they help you remember now, help you remember. Sometimes people get amazed and they ask you, where are you reading? I'm not reading anywhere, but I'm reading. There's a sentence at the back of my mind that is guiding me on what I should say. It's a very good way of understanding. So, number 1, forget. Number 2, active. Number 3, yes. Number 4, teach. And that is called fast learning. It's very, very important. Okay, 6 eyes opening Japanese concepts. Ikigai. What is the meaning of Ikigai? Know the reason why. Find what makes your life meaningful by doing what you love, what you are good at, and what the world needs. Number 2, Kaizen, daily improvement. Makes daily improvement. Obutaitori. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has own timings in life. If life was a test, then everybody has his own question papers. Everyone have their own question papers. And then you have Hari Hashiru. Hari Hashiru. What does it mean? Eat until you are 80% full. It keeps you energized and prevent overeating. Because it makes you sleep when you overeat. Then Shoshi. What did I say? Shoshi. What did I say that means? Think like a baby. Be curious. What is Sabi? Forget. That's another one of forget. Okay? Avoid being perfect. You can never be perfect. Avoid being overconfident. What is Sabi? Pretend you don't know. Can you start from the beginning? Know the reason why. Improve daily. Don't compare yourself with other people. Don't eat too much. Think like a baby. Avoid being perfect. They're very interesting ways of doing what you are doing. Okay? Pillars of self-discipline if you want to succeed. Performance, satisfaction, balance, consistency, focus, and goals. Interesting, my dear young. Interesting. If you are to put these things in practice for the remaining time, you will enjoy reading. You will enjoy studying. And doing the exam will be very easy. Okay? The discipline look, how to stay consistent even when you don't feel like it. And this is one thing most of us suffer from. Sometimes you get bored, get tired, get exhausted. What do? Start with a goal. Know the why. How is that called in Japanese? Know the why. Ikigai. Yes. Number 2, take small action. Move. When you move, when the body moves, the brain will groove. Then keep progressing and then repeat the cycle. Discipline isn't magic. It's a loop. Use it daily. Remember, action gives you motivation. Motivation gives you more action. That's the formula. Interesting. Okay? Remember, action gives you motivation, and motivation more action. Almost at one time. Improve your discipline. Get up early, take cold shower, adapt positive habits, get rid of bad habits, think about your goals, and stay consistent. Njia inayopitiwa kila siku haigei, na kitabu kinachosoma kila siku hakisahauliki. We learn 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we see and hear, 70% of what is discussed, 80% of what we experience, 95% of what we teach to others. Very interesting formula. If you apply this, my friends, this exam will be very easy. Can we start again?
10% of what we read.
Don't forget the statement at the top.
We learn 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we see and hear, 70% of what we discuss, 80% of what we experience.
حبذا محمد هدينا لولا ما كنا ولا بكينا إن جاءنا تستجيب منا الله يا الله يا الله
يا مجال قاصد يا مطلب
اللهم لولا أنت ما اهتدينا ولا تصدقنا ولا صلينا فانزل سكينة علينا وثبت الأقدام إن لقينا نحن نلاقيك مسلمين إن دعوناك استجبنا الله يا الله يا الله يا مجل
القاصد يا غفار
والمشركون قد بغوا علينا إذا أرادوا فتنة بينا وكتب جهنم علينا طبق الحديث التي روينا فارجهم اللهم خاسرين إن دونك استجب يمينا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجال
قاصد يا غفار
الله يا رحمن يا رحيم الله يا حي يا قيوم الله يا قوي يا قديم الله يا علي يا عظيم لا ينبغي للقوم عيالون إلا دونك استجب يمينا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجال قاصد
يا غفار
الله يا لطيف يا عليم الله يا رؤوف يا حكيم الله يا قوي يا رحيم الله يا وهاب يا كريم عدنان لا وجار عندنا دون إن دونك استجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجال
قاصد يا غفار
الله يا ملك يا منير الله يا ملك يا كبير الله يا مولى ويا نصير الله أنت الملك القدير ليس عندنا لك معجزين إن دونك استجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله
يا
مجال
قاصد يا غفار
الله يا شكور يا شكور الله يا عفو يا غفور الله يا عليم يا خبير الله يا فتاه يا بصير لا تحرمن فتحك المبين
إن دونك استجب منا.
الله يا الله يا الله يا مجال
قاصد يا غفار
الله يا ظهير يا جليل الله يا باتن يا وكيل الله يا صديق يا جميل الله يا حفيظ يا خفي كن حافظا لنا وكن معينا إذا تستجيب لنا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجال
قاصد يا غفار
الله يا غني يا حميد الله يا مغني ويا رشيد الله يا مبدي يا معيد الله يا عزيز يا مجيد لإذك تعيد يشكو الهدى إن دونك استجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجال قاصد
يا غفار
الله يا كبير يا مقتدر الله يا قاهر يا مؤخر الله يا فطير يا مساوي الله يا محصي ويا مدبر لنا ودمر العجيب إنك تستجيب لنا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجال
قاصد يا غفار
الله يا دائم ويموت الله يا قائم لا يفوت الله يا محيي ويا مميت الله يا مغيث يا مقيت كن حسنا وحسنا الحسين إن دونك استجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجال قاصد الله يا بسيط أنت الواسع الله يا قبيض أنت المانع الله يا خالق أنت الحامي الله يا خفيض أنت ارفع معلنا لإليين إن دونك استجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجال
قاصد يا
الله ذو المعرج الرفيع الله يا وفي ويا سريع الله يا كفي ويا سميع يا نور يا هدي يا بديع أدبتنا بما جرى يخفينا إن دونك استجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجال
قاصد يا غفار
الله ذو الجلال والإكرام الله ذو الطول والدوام الله ذو الفضل والإنعام وسيدي مطلق للعلام ارحم عبيد لك عبيدنا إن دونك استجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجال قاصد الله يا أول أنت الواحد الله يا آخر أنت الراشد يا وتر يا متكبر يا وجيه يا بار يا متفضل يا بفضلك أقبلنا على نفسنا إن دونك فاستجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجيد فاستجب يا الله يا مبين يا ودود الله يا محيط يا شهيد الله يا متين يا شديد يا من هو الفاعل ما يريد إنا ضياف لا تستبلدينا إنا دعونا تستجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجيد فاستجب يا الله يا معز يا مكافئ الله يا مبلغ يا متقم البارئ الذكي فلا ينادم المحسن ولحفظ ليس لنا سواك من يحمينا إنك تستجيب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجيد فاستجب يا الله يا وريث أنت العبد الله يا بعيد أنت الأحد يا مالك الملك الله الصمد لا كفر لا وليد لا ولد كفل عندنا فقد أبينا إنك تستجيب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجيد فاستجب الله يا غريب يا قهار الله يا نفي وأنت الضار الله يا بريء يا غفار يا ربي يا ذا القوة الجزاء طول لنا دنيا وطوي دينا إن دعونا فاستجب لنا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجيد فاستجب الله رب العزة السلام المؤمن المحيي العلام ذو رحمة على الأشرار من دين الحق والإسلام خير له اللهم ناصرينا إن دعونا فاستجب لنا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجيد الله أنت متعالي الحكم الفرد ذو العرش ولي الأحكام الغافر المطيع جواد المنيب العادل عدل الصبور من كلنا في أرض لا تنكينا إن دعونا فاستجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجيد فاستجب الله يا قدوس يا برهان يا بر يا حنان يا منان يا حق يا محسن يا سيد تبارك الأسماء واللسان بها كان بابك المسؤول إن دعونا فاستجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجيد فاستجب الله يا خلاق يا منيب الله يا رزاق يا حسيب الله يا كريم يا رقيب المستعان سامع المجيب المستعان سامع المجيب إن دعونا فاستجب منا. الله يا الله يا الله يا مجيد فاستجب يا غفار.
وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. اللهم اغفر لي ولعبدك المضعب ضعيف يوسف بن إسماعيل النبهاني مؤلف هذا الكتاب وادخلني إياه الجنة من غير سابقة العذاب وأوصل إلى روحه ثواب هذه الفاتحة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
اللهم اغفر لأمة محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم آمين.
اللهم افعل أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم آمين.
اللهم تجاوز عن أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم آمين.
اللهم سامح أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم آمين.
اللهم أصلح أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم آمين.
اللهم افتح لأمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم آمين.
اللهم أعز أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم آمين.
اللهم انصر أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم آمين.
اللهم منكن لأمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم آمين.
اللهم أيد أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم آمين.
اللهم ارحم أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين.
اللهم وافق أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين.
اللهم اغفر أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين.
اللهم احرس أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين.
اللهم اجبر أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين.
اللهم استر أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين.
اللهم فارج عن أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين.
اللهم ارضى عن أمة سيدنا محمد
صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين.
اللهم وال من والاه
وتب
علينا
إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الأنبياء والمرسلين وآله وصحبه وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. Volunteer to put dua. Then you give her also, she's there. آمين. 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 آمين.
ولا يعز من عليك
آمين.
ربنا عليك
آمين.
الحمد على ما قضيت
آمين.
والشكر على ما أعطيت
آمين.
نستغفرك اللهم من جميع الذنوب والخطايا ونتوب
Mwalimu kwa gari kuna soda na biskuti, tusaidie kwa gari, weka tu hiyo. Tutafunga tu, iko wazi, iko kwa hii mlango wa pili behind the drive. Amin. 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 آمين.
اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا. اللهم افتح لنا فتوح العارفين. اللهم افتح لنا فتوح العارفين. اللهم افتح لنا فتوح العارفين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا وتجعل أمورنا كلها سهلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اجعلنا من الفائزات. اللهم اجعلنا من الفائزات. اللهم اجعلنا من الفائزات في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار.
Alhamdulillah. Somebody
I go by the name Salma and I'm representing my class in
MashaAllah.
We'd like to thank you for this session. It might be one of our last session with you. And it has been a roller coaster in this final year of ours. And with you by our sides, with your talks every now and then, it has been easier for us to fight through this trouble, this path, in order to get what we want in the end, and inshallah min al-faizin. Other than your talks, we'd like to thank you for the amazing administration that you have. We'd like to thank the principal for all the support that she has given us. For me personally, I remember when I joined, I never wanted to be in this place. I never liked to be in this school. But with the help of the principal, the deputy principal, alhamdulillah, they've guided me through the right path alongside you. And alhamdulillah, I do not regret making such a choice. And alhamdulillah, with the growth that I've had, I'm proud to say that inshallah, I will do my best. And inshallah, I'll come out with a very good grade as long by the side of our sisters. Inshallah, min al-faizin, with your help and your blessings, we'll all pass and do well. Thank you.
Somebody else has something nice to say. Somebody else, please. Somebody else. MashaAllah, barakallah. Takbir. Takbir. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. No problem, no problem.
My mom told me. Ukiangalia mwanzo ya kitu chochote, hata kama ni kupasa mtihani wako, mwanzo kumbukia waliokufa, hata kama ni kitambo ama sasa. Ya pili, wazazi wako sana katika dua, hata kama ni after swala. Na ya tatu ni kama vile mfano utatoa sadaka, muombe yule ambaye utakayemtolea sadaka, yaani yule ambaye utakayemtolea sadaka muombe ili azidi kuwa nacho kile ambacho ulichoomba.
Takbir. Allahu Akbar.
These are good testimonies, eh? Somebody else, the last one, not the list. Not the list. Somebody who has a nice anashid, just to at least help us feel good. Bismillah. You come here. MashaAllah. The one that at least others can also. There's not enough. Which one is it? It looks like it has a lot of sugar.
No control. These are the ones pregnant.
Pineapple is bad. DJ.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
MashaAllah.
Tashukuru sana Ilahi kufika siku adhimu, kwa hakika tumefurahi sisi sote kwa kuhitimu. Hatusemi tunajidai, ila hapa kwetu muhimu. Tumetoka kwenye nyumbani miaka minne finally. Leo furaha tunamaliza. Asante Allah kwa kutimiza. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Tunamaliza salama. Tunamaliza tangu tuanze mwanzo 2022. Haikuwa mwaka huu tumetelewesha na hivi janga zito ya COVID-19. Shukrani sana, pongezi wapelekea kwa walimu, kwa wakubwa ya malezi na kutukadhiri elimu. Kuwasahau hatuwezi, daima tutakumbukeni. Tumejawa na mapenzi mliotupa hapa shuleni. Mr. Mujahid, asante sana. Mola Manani akupendana. Mama Aisha Shajana Lula Odunga Josaya Juma na Pauli, kipenzi cha watu walimu wa dini, hatusahau katu. Mr. Said ametufunza vyema kitabu cha Mola wa Bana, tukaiona hakika, shukrani sana. Ustad Ahmed, Allah kubariki ya besti. Leo furaha tunamaliza. Asante Allah kwa kutimiza. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Tunamaliza salama. Mushirifani tutakumbuka, kwenu shukurani kutukuza. Ustada Yusra na Ustada Shani, kweli mashallah, na Ustada Nabuka. Tunadi dunia na kwetu fahari kwa shule tulosomea, haina dosari, ni Ummulqurah-Malindi Sekondari. Iko Malindi sehemu ya amani, kwani masomo ya dini nambani, hapa kote nchini utani. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Tunamaliza salama. hatuwezi.
Okay. Thank you for coming, inshallah. Hopefully we will meet one more time.